Good morning, second graders. Miss Munoz is here today. We are continuing what we did yesterday, drawing more arrays and writing more equations or number sentences. Today we're on page 75 of our student journal, if you want to turn to page 75. Okay, and our goal or our objective today, I'm going to change a little bit of what they wrote. We're going to leave some blanks, but today I will draw arrays and write an equation. I'm going to skip this part to find the number represented. So today I will draw arrays and write an equation to find the number represented. So we're just going to be continuing more of what we did yesterday. Okay, so remember, what is an array? An array is an arrangement neatly and organized of objects. And then again, we really have to know what our rows and our columns are. That's really, really important so we don't make mistakes. Okay, so what does this look like? I'm going to grab my red pen if you want to set down your pencil for a moment. And here's my first problem. They want me to draw an array with 2 rows and 4 columns. So yesterday, if you remember, I like to start with my columns. It's up to you, but that's what I like to start with. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and my columns are going to be up, down, and I need 2 rows. So I have 1 row and another. So remember, columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, and rows are 1, 2. So I followed their directions, and now let's write some equations or number sentences. I might count by columns first. So my first column has 2, my second column 2, third column 2, and my fourth column has 2, which gives me a total of 8. Okay, now I could count by rows. My first row has 4. My second row has 4, which also gives me a total or a sum of 8. Okay, let's look at a second one. This one says draw an array with 3 columns and 15 objects total. So I have 3 columns, 3 up, down, and they didn't tell me how many rows, but they told me I need 15 objects total. So I have 1, 2, 3. Let's add another row. That was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So did I follow the rules? Yes. 1, 2, 3 columns and 15 total objects. So now we can write our number sentences. And I went a little far down so I can put them over here. Well, my column has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this column also has 5, and this column has 5, which gives me a total of 15. I could have also counted by rows. So this row has 3, this row has 3, and how many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many 3s do I need to have? Hopefully we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because they each represent 1 row. And I still have 15. Okay, so let's try some of those together. Okay, we are on page 76 in your student journal. If you want to get 76 and grab your pencil. Okay, so our first direction says draw an array with 2 rows and 2 columns. I like to start with my columns. So I know I'm going to have 1, 2 up, downs. They also want me to make sure I have 2 rows. So right now I have 1 row. Well, if we add another object to our columns, now we have 1, 2 rows. So 2 columns and 2 rows. Okay, watch what's going to happen with our equations on this one. If I count by my columns, I have 2 in that column plus 2 in this column, which gives me a total of 4. If I count by rows, I'm going to get 2 in that row plus 2 in that row, which also gives me a total of 4. So that's because what I kind of drew was a square there. If I was to trace that, I would have a square. Okay, let's look at one more together. This one says, draw an array with 3 rows and 12 total objects. Remember, I always like to start with my columns first. I can't for this one because I don't know how many columns. I know there's going to be 3 rows, but I can do that. I just have to kind of think a little differently for this one. So I'm going to have 1 row, I'm going to have 2 rows, and I'm going to have 3 rows. Okay, that's only 3 objects. So let me add another to this row. Let me add another to this row and another to that row. So now I have 1, 2, 3 rows still, but I only have 6 objects. So I have to add another 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So did I follow my rules? I have 1, 2, 3 rows, and I have a total of 12 objects. Yep. So it was not the way that I used to do it, but I could still do that. I didn't have to give up. Okay, so now let's see what our number sentence or our equations are. In this column, I have 3 plus 3 in that column, plus 3 in that column, and plus 3 in that column, which gives me a total of 12. In this row, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, plus this row has 4, and plus this row has 4, which also gives me a total of 12. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you're feeling pretty confident. You're going to turn the page, and you're going to do page 76, and then you're going to turn the page again, and you're going to do 78, and then you're even going to turn the page again today and do page 79. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.